again for having me with you all. So to begin with, right, I would like to have to know how are you feeling today? Okay, so all of you have your QR codes. So use your QR code and scan this. So you have 1 minute to respond.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It's Tosif Ahmed. As you have inquired at how are you feeling today, we are really feeling excited today. Being with you. Really, it's our great pleasure that you have joined us, and the credit goes to our faculty members, senior, faculty members, Dr. Shumaila and Dr. Habib Pathan, because they have always provided such opportunities to us. Personally, it's really great feeling for me, and I'm feeling really excited.
Thank you. Just respond to the QR code thing. So you will just put in your how you feel there. So I see at the moment about almost 50% of excellent and 50% of great. All right, that's nice to see. Okay, I don't know how many of you are here at the moment. I think. Okay. So you have a few seconds more. Only two has responded. What about the others? There are more than two of you here, I believe. You are shy to respond, or you're having problem responding?
Students can also respond by writing their options in the chat box. If you are not willing to, tell us on this through your audio, you can also let us know about your responses in chat box.
Yes, maybe Dr. Elizabeth, show us the QR code again, and so that we can scan it.
Can you see the code?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. At the moment, I see 29 participants in the room. Okay. It doesn't matter, I think, if you do not want to, what do you call, okay, there's 3 of you responded with 67% of excellence and 33 great. Right. That's good.
I think participants are, replying into the chat box. QR thing is a bit like new for us.
It's new to them, huh? Okay. Doesn't matter. No, as I told you, the whole talk session is also an opportunity for me to introduce things to them, and it will be a learning curve for them. Yeah. So I anticipated this. So it's okay. Don't feel apprehended or anything like that. So the whole talk for today is, I presume, is going to be about 45 minutes to 1 hour. So what I have programmed for you will be a brief introduction into the current scenarios surrounding us, and then looking into teaching and learning, as the title says. So we are going to rethink about teaching and learning. All right. So most of it will be revolving around teaching and learning. And then I will go on into some hands-on activity, followed by self-reflection, and finally to sum up everything in the form of a very brief conclusion. Right? So this is what I have planned for all of you today. Hope it will benefit. I'm here just as a person to share my knowledge and experience with you. I'm not a person of know all right? So I believe knowledge sharing is a platform which will build each other. So I learn from you and you learn from me. Okay? So to start off, okay, when you look at this, you know, all of you know what I'm coming to. Okay? We are in the era where will be taken by shock with this virus. Okay? No one anticipated this. No one. Okay? In the wildest dream, you would have thought that such a small virus would cause a big impact on our lives. Okay? Due to this COVID virus, okay, which became ultimately a pandemic, the entire universe came to a standstill. Okay, entire world, not Asia, not Pakistan, not Malaysia, the entire universe. And due to that, the only thing all of us were asked to do, or we particularly did, was to stay home and stay safe. Right? In this process of staying home and staying safe, okay, everything was locked, okay, and we didn't have much thing to do. Okay, and due to this, in the long run, what came out of it was something we call as the new normal, or what we call the new norm, where everything changed. The way we live, the way we do things, the way we meet, the way we greet, everything took a tumble. Okay, and what is expected from us is to look at things in a different perspective, different angle, right? From family right up to our future, our career, and so on. Right? In this process of the new norm, right? There were some of us who could adapt. Okay, there was no problem, there was no issue, but of course there were issues for many. For families that were directly affected by coronavirus, it was a huge blow to them. Right? So I don't know among us here now how many of them have family members who were affected, right? So whatever it is, we only pray for the return of our universe back to us as how it was in the beginning. All right. So this coronavirus, this tiny little species, all right, took charge of the entire world, right? And it brought about what we call as the disruption. Okay, that this disruption, which earlier I mentioned as the new norm, all right, it was a new norm because the virus, okay, the pandemic affected everyone in every angle. From name a single thing, it was affected. So the disruption in every area, every perspective. Okay? So when I say every perspective, education included. So that's where we come into picture, because we are directly involved into this education. Yes, it caused disruption in our families, okay, in our relationships, but we are here today not to talk about our families, not to talk about relationship. We are only going to focus on education. And talking about education, right, it brought about lots of changes, unprecedented. Okay, as I told you, no one expected this in the wildest dream we ever thought. So when you talk about education, okay, the changes that it kind of actually put a stop to everything. No doubt in the beginning, I think people were happy when the lockdown came about. It says the schools are shut, no school, no work, or all of us were excited. I don't know, I wouldn't say all of us, I was excited because I was always hoping for a situation where I can work from home. Okay, so I was initially excited. But when the thing took over 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and so on, it started to be, something which is rather serious. We cannot take things lightly. In the context of Malaysia, the initial lockdown was 2 weeks. There means no work, no studies, no school, nothing. But beginning from the third week onwards, we were asked to go back to teaching and learning. Not physically, but we have to do it. We have to explore it. So that's where the teaching and learning prospect came into picture. But when we were asked to do that, okay, similarly, I think in Pakistan, that's what happened as well. Teachers and students were kind of in a limbo in the sense of what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to do? Okay, so the anxiety level was there. They were wondering of how to work, how to teach, how to learn, what kind of environment, the setting and all those. So the challenge was very much great. Okay. So now, what came into your thoughts? Okay, what were your thoughts when the government announced the lockdown in your own context? Share your thoughts via WhatsApp. You can share your thoughts in the group now. What were your thoughts? Anyone? Don't feel shy. Do you all see the WhatsApp chat? Can you all see?
Yes, we can see. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So one respond, I was worried. What about the rest?
Dr. Elizabeth, rest, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Extremely worried. I felt uncertain. I was in Malaysia. Okay, that's Ishfaq. Okay, it will be put people in depression. I was all blank. Such a great webinar. What was your thought? Felt worried. It was quite new to us. So, worried. So you see that the word, the phrases that come along is depression, worried, right? Uncertainty. This was anticipated in that scenario because no one was prepared for this. We were not kind of given early notice that this is coming. Even though it was happening in China, right? When the pandemic was in China, we didn't care. We didn't even bother to know what's in because we thought it is in China. It is not for us. It is not going to come to us until it came and hit us real hard. Okay, so you see that all the thing about worried, panic. Okay, so all of us felt the same. Okay, all of us felt the same. So our worriedness and the panicness was more towards, yes, our respective family, but again, it was more indeed to think about our rice bowl, okay, the teaching and learning perspective. As I mentioned in the introduction earlier, we were worried. How are our students going to learn? How are we going to teach? How is the university going to survive? So what's going to happen? The lockdown, schools are shut, colleges are closed, the semester, what is going to happen? How are we going to extend the semester? So these were the things which kind of caused the panicness among us, the stress. Okay, and of course, when the university said we have to continue, we have to teach, all the more the panic set in. Okay, so now my question to you, this disruption that brought about by this virus corona, which kind of locks down everything, including our careers, okay, the disruption, is it good or bad? Is it good or bad? What do you think? The disruption that, brought about, it was never planned, right? We didn't plan for this. We didn't plan to shut down. We didn't plan to convert the teaching as how it's been done now, all right? In the normal circumstances, this kind of talk will be done in the physical presence of the speaker in your premises. But now we are doing it over the webinar concept, all right? So is the disruption good or bad? What do you think?
I want to answer.
Yeah?
Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
In a way that we are Pakistani, we don't just progress while having a thought. When we are pressurized or when we are pushed to do something, then we do start to do it. So we are never going to move to the online world until we are pushed. So the coronavirus really pushed us to do this, to move to the digital reality. So this is what it did. On the other hand, it also made the disturbances because we were never ready about this. And staying at home and doing nothing, like I had to go for the research. I had because my research is ethnographical, so I had to go there. So it's a long stop and I don't know what to do. I'm just wondering. So this is what happened.
Okay, precisely, all right? So you feel that, in the bad, okay, there is certain things which you discovered, all right? So to me, all right, of course, on the onset, it looked very bad, okay? It kind of put you in uncertainty, what's going to happen, what to do, how to do. But over the time, after 2 weeks, and when you give it a good thought, all right, course, when you pray it over, I used to, in my daily prayers, what kind of thing, why is this happening? What am I to do? How am I going to become useful or handy in these circumstances? I discovered that this coronavirus disruption is actually a blessing in disguise. Okay? I will call it blessing. It's not that I'm happy to see millions of people dying. No. All right. What I'm saying is blessing because as an educationist, an advocate of learning, not so much teaching, all right, I advocate learning. So in that perspective, I look at this as something good, right, which has transformed our teaching and learning. Okay, so it has forced us out of our comfort zones to look at teaching and learning in a different new concept, right? And doing so, it allowed, right, us to venture into things which would have been on a normal circumstances impossible, all right, on a normal circumstances. In a regular basis, okay, normal, in our normal time before, if someone has approached me to do a webinar, all right, to share my knowledge, I would have been reluctant to do so. Okay, I would have said no. I would prefer to come, meet my participants, talk to them face to face. But now this disruption is the one which is the one made it possible for me to take up this challenge, and here I am doing this session with you. Right? So whatever impossible, just now one of the participants said she's doing an ethnographic study. So she found herself like stuck, what to do. Ethnographic study basically means mingling with participants, journeying with them to know about their daily routine, their culture, their practice, and so on. All right. So this can be done. All right. This can be done. It's not that this pandemic has put to stop that you can't do it now. You can do it, but only the form has changed. Everything is going to be done, on a kind of electronical based approach rather than physical presence. Because as COVID among us now, the social contacts is very much forbidden. Okay, so the presence now is going to be technologically driven. Okay, so the goodness transformed teaching and learning, allowed impossible things to happen. In the process of doing so, it made us think and rethink. All right, it kind of forced us to examine our mindset. I think for the last couple of years, or for the in the past, we were so uh, contented with the lifestyle, with what we had been doing. But now this short term, 2 months, 3 months, lots of soul searching, a lots of reviewing and thinking has made us look into things on a different perspective and different norm, and we have progressed. And every one of us have progressed, even if not in the education, but probably in your own personal life, you will notice that you have changed your mindset. Okay, I think there are among us here now who would not have gone into the kitchen, all right, in the normal circumstances. But now with this COVID disruption, we are forced into it. I who believe that I cannot cook, I'm not a cook. I discover I can cook. I'm a good cook. You see, so in the same perspective, even in our teaching, the mindset has brought about change. So in the beginning, I told you that I'm an advocate of learning and not teaching. All right. So many educators tend to hold on to this principle that I'm an educator. Being an educator, I teach. I'm the person of authority. I know all. I just pour forth my knowledge, my skill to you. You are my student. Right? But I do not believe in that. I kind of agree to the constructivist Vygotsky, okay, who says that knowledge, okay, which educators believe that knowledge is transferred from the teacher to the students through teaching, and students believe they obtain the knowledge from the teachers through the process of learning. Okay? That is the common mindset. But I tend to agree with Vygotsky to say that knowledge is not passed on, knowledge is not put forth, knowledge is not given, knowledge is not received. It is co-constructed. That means it is something that takes place when the educator and the learner come together, right? They merge, they get engaged, they commit themselves to doing things together, all right? Let it be projects, let it be activities, anything at all. These two come together, so which means they are on the parallel level. Okay, not unlike what many think teachers are above, students are slightly below. No, we are on the same platform. So that is what knowledge is. So now at this present moment, you will see that this comes very much into place. So people like me, all right, who emphasize on learning more than teaching, okay, I feel this is the time. Okay, and even if I go on further to look at Stephen Krashen, okay, the advocate of the comprehensible input, what does he say in regards knowledge? He claims it is I plus one. Okay, I plus one. I is the new skill, the new knowledge. One is what you already have. So learning is when there is additional value added to your current competence. So an educator pouring in knowledge to you does not mean you have obtained the I. It is just a kind of transfer, pouring tea from one cup to the other. But we don't know whether the tea is going to be tasty, it's going to be drunk, it's going to be useful, no. But when it is a process of engagement, involvement, participation, then it's going to be one. So whatever you are giving your students, okay, you don't have to be there. So teaching and learning happens together. It is not like teaching first and then you students learn. No. So when I say that, you should now, all of you should not feel apprehended or feel bad about it because you are not with your students. Students are not with you. So you don't have to feel bad. It doesn't mean the teaching and learning has stopped. No, it is in fact the starting point. Okay? So in the past, with this in mind, in the past, okay, when I say in the past, what I'm referring to for now is pre-pandemic, before the pandemic. Most of us here go into the classes, go into the lecture halls, you teach, and you expect the learners to receive whatever you have taught them, and they use it in their lives, in their work, in their assignments, and so on. That's what has been. So that's why when the disruption came about, you were stuck. You didn't know, oh my God, I am not going to see my student. The student is not going to be in front. How am I going to do it? So the worriedness, you became worked up. Okay? So what is expected from you now? You cannot do this because you don't have physical presence with your students. So the current scenario, this new norm, okay, which has put us apart, educators apart, learners apart, what is expected is using the circumstances, the current real circumstances, okay, the issues that we are having, issues of cannot go to class, cannot see my supervisor, cannot see my teacher, cannot see my friends. This is the real circumstances, all right? So these circumstances is not going to end once, what we call life. No, it is going to create the learning opportunity. You see, you're not going to teach, but there are plenty of learning opportunities created by this current scenario, because there are plenty of real issues, real circumstances, real things happening around the students, which calls for them to react, okay, calls for their response, calls for them to do something. And by doing something, they're actually going to apply. This is the problem. They have to find ways and means to solve the problem in front of them. So when they are doing that, they are actually learning. So you don't have to teach them, all right? So, but it is easier said than done. Okay, so those of us who are in still, okay, but many of the teachers and students, they still cannot get adjusted to this new norm or way of learning. It's because of their mindset. The mindset here, I'm referring to teachers, educators, lecturers, thinking that they are the ones in authority to give, to instruct, all right, to provide. And students, on the other hand, think they are the receiving party. They have to be told, they have to be directed, they have to be instructed. Okay, so that's a tension. And that tension is the one which causes the anxiety within us. Okay? So is it acceptable? Okay, now the current scenario calls for you to make sure the learning continues. But you are still adamantly holding on to your mindset that I need to teach. I have to be physically present. I need to tell my students to do this, to read this, to do that, and so on. Is it acceptable? Obviously not acceptable at the present new norm. Okay, it is not acceptable at all. Okay, let me give you a scenario. Okay, let me give you a scenario. Many of you here among the participants today, I think you are of the middle, the youngsters, and the maybe 30 years old, right? So you are more on the technological people, the 21st century citizens, all right? So when you are facing problem like, your handphones, your laptops, you're watching a movie or you want to watch live streaming of something, that's a complex problem, okay? But you are able to overcome that problem. Am I right? Am I right? Because you can solve it. But now, when it comes to the teaching and learning, when we are referring to academic courses, it's a complex problem which COVID has brought us to. Okay? To teach maths, to teach science, to teach research methodology, and so on. Okay? You find that you cannot solve the problem. You feel you are in a limbo, you are in a dilemma. Why? You see, on one continuum, you are able to solve the complex technological problem. Your phone breaks down, you know what to do. You can just open it, you just do this, you do that, and it's done. Your same thing with it. You are very good at it. But now, when this COVID brings about a different kind of complexness into our lives, as educators, as students, you find that you are in a dead end. Why? Have you asked yourself why? It's nothing else other than your mindset. Okay? It's your mindset. It's how conservative you are, your conventional thinking. All right? So this mindset, okay, if we want to progress, we want to get adjusted to this norm, we are able to be on par with the rest of them to tackle these current issues, we have to break this mindset. Okay? Only when you are able to break yourself out from this conservative thinking of teaching, you have to do being present there, is not going to change. There are so many opportunities, so many ways, but if you yourself not willing to come out of your comfort zone, come out of your shell, then nothing can happen. Okay? Because only when you allow yourself, you break that mindset, then you allow yourself to go wild, not wild in the physical, literal sense, but in your mind, your thinking. You can be creative, you are able to look at perspective and reason out things, you are able to tackle the problem in front of you. And when you are able to do that, believe me, the solution will also be there right in front of you. You don't need anyone to tell you to do this. You will be able to discover it. You will be able to take up the challenge to try this, to do this and do that, and you find your way out. So in the process of you doing, okay, changing of mindset, sometimes you can do it alone. It is a lone ranger work, you can do it alone. It depends on what type of a person you are, because you're talking about learning, it's the style. Some people can just explore, do things their way and find out. But sometimes you need other people. So this is where the collaboration and networking is required. You talk to each other. You share your opinions, you share your ideas, you get the perspective from others, put them together, what works, how it works. And definitely this will make it happen. Okay, so when you are being able to be creative, right, when you are able to be creative, you will find that there will be lots of means for you to do things. And remember, when you talk about learning, we want them to be interested in what they are doing. We want students to be engaged. Remember, knowledge is co-construction. It is not individualistic. So whatever you're coming there, you need to bring them together. So you think of something where they can do, and in the process of they doing that, they will learn, they will enjoy. By right, learning is a very chaotic, joyful experience. Okay, so I think I have talked quite a bit on the scenario of teaching and learning, and in the process addressing your current what I call circumstances or feelings, and that you are having. So I'm going to put you through a short practice. Okay, a short practice. You're going to access the following Blendspace link I'm going to give you. All right, I'll give you in the form of a link, as well as after this you will see the QR code. Okay, you can also access the QR code. This will be the link. Okay, it will be shared on the WhatsApp in a short while. Okay, once you access this platform, okay, Blendspace is the platform. I don't know how many of you have heard about this. Anyone here have heard about Blendspace? Anyone? Okay, so there are plenty of things in there. Okay, our time is limited, so I want you to just scan through those materials there. Look out for key information. So none of you, I'm getting messages in the WhatsApp. Nobody have heard Blendspace. That's excellent. All right. So look at those materials there. Look at the key information. Everything there is about one particular topic of discussion. So you just briefly, maybe you are going to spend about 15 minutes on this, all right? So you look at those materials, just concentrate on the key information, all right? So as you're looking at it, you are skimming, scanning, I want you to make notes, okay? Make notes. So your notes can be in the form of a linear, bullet form. It can be a mind map. It can be a corner notes, all right? Clear of the task? We have about 15 minutes for you to do this. So this is the QR code. You can scan this. Meanwhile, I will send the link to you via WhatsApp. Okay, the link is also available in WhatsApp. So this is what you will see. Okay, you will find that there will be a compilation of materials for you to look at. Okay, all these referring to teaching and learning. Okay, just spend some time there, about 10 to 15 minutes. Right, you can look at it. You won't have time to read everything, all right? Just scan, okay? Look at all those information, make a simple infographic kind of graphical note, okay? So I will time you maybe about 10 minutes. Okay, you have 5 more minutes. How are you doing? Okay, I believe you have like run through the entire material in this Blendspace. Okay, so Blendspace is actually a platform which comes very much handy in this online learning. Okay, remember I told you I'm an advocate of learning, not teaching. Okay, and where I believe that without the teacher, learning can take place. Okay. In today's context, okay, I wanted to reveal to you participants who are supposed to be my students, okay, in terms of how to overcome the anxiety in terms of to address the knowledge acquisition among your students in this online perspective. So maybe amongst you here, there could have been, or maybe you have already known what is online teaching, how to do it, what are the strategies, what are the guidelines, and so on. So in a normal old scenario, okay, the previous pre-pandemic scenario, the teacher goes into the class and tells the students or teach the students online learning is blah, blah, blah. In order to do online learning, you need to know this, this, this. Okay, these are the strategies. Okay, these are the platforms you can use. These are the tools that you can use. But now, during this pandemic and post-pandemic, where online teaching is going to be the new norm, right? I don't have to go into the class to teach my students what is online learning, how to do it, and so on. So I just give them the resources. I push them into the deep sea. You go and find out, all right? You go and read. So there's two options, you know. I can just tell them, you go and do, really push them into the deep sea. But then, of course, we have to take into consideration the context the students are coming from. Not every student is gifted, in the sense that having the privilege to go and find the resources in this present moment. So we can do the help. So we provide. So what I gave you just now were all those materials that you can read to acquire about what is online teaching, how to do it, how to help you plan your teaching. Okay. Remember, we are bound by syllabus, we are bound by curriculum. Whatever we do, whether it's face-to-face, online, we have to make sure our learning outcomes, our objectives are achieved. So we have to choose and prepare our lesson accordingly, right? So if you look at Blendspace, this is a platform where you can share whatever materials you want your students to look at, okay? Whatever you want them to read. But again, I'm telling you, this is not the only. There are hundreds of tools and platforms that you can use. So you have to go and explore and pick up which will be relevant to you, which you feel comfortable using, which will be helpful for your course with your students and so on. Okay, besides sharing, okay, Blendspace also allows, okay, let's say I click on this one, how innovation in teaching. You see on your right panel, there is discussion. So you can open up, use this once they have done their part of reading and acquiring. And if they have questions, you can start off another activity from there. Okay, so you can use it on that level as well. So how you're going to use it, it depends. Okay, so this is the basic tool that you can use. You can create as many topics as you want according to your course outline and so on. Okay, so that is you don't have to be confused because, okay, over these 10, 15 minutes or even this 1 hour, I cannot teach you in full on how to use, okay? But believe me, once you get explored to this, okay, I'm sharing with you, you are looking, in order for you to look at materials shared to you, you don't have to log in, all right? But when you want to create your own classroom, all right, then you have to sign up. Right? You just click on sign up, you use an email, you create an account just like anything else. Then once you are in that page, you will navigate yourself. It is a very user-friendly platform. Can you imagine a senior citizen like me can explore and I can use it? What more youngsters like you wouldn't have any problem. All right. So these are the things you need to explore later on after this session. So as my abstract mentioned, is basically an interactive talk to give you or show you how you can utilize things around you to make yourself relevant to the current circumstances. Yeah. So you use this. All right. So by using this platform, you allow your students to look at various things related to the subject matter that you are teaching. Okay. So now we will continue. Remember earlier I asked you to do the notes. All right. Now, the notes that you have done, okay, it could be a scribble on a piece of paper, your mind map, right? If you have done so, just take a snapshot of that graphic note of yours, or if you are using a laptop and you came up, you type something or whatever, you can save it as a document, all right? Upload that outcome of yours, that graphic note of yours, by accessing this link, all right? This will take you to Padlet, another platform, right? So for those of you using QR code, this is the QR code. Just scan the QR code. It will take you to the Padlet. Let me share the link in the WhatsApp as well. Give me a minute. Okay, the Padlet link is available in your WhatsApp group as well. Okay, let me show you how it looks. Okay, this is how the Padlet interface looks like. So you see I've already got the title up there, ELDC webinar, hands-on Padlet practice. What I asked you to do was upload your note. So at the bottom here, you see a plus sign. You click on the plus sign, all right? Then you have this interface. So you can upload, you can, share your photo. So those of you who scribbled on a piece of paper your mind map just now, just take a screenshot, upload here. And if those of you who are working on your laptop, you happen to type something off, save it, upload it here. Can we see some? I hope to see at least one or two. I'm sure I would have had some quick learners within these participants. Okay, hello. Can you just upload, please? Whatever you have done. If you have any. You didn't manage to do anything. I know time was a constraint, all right? So you can see the connection now, right? Even if you have not done. So the connection is, I gave you, my students, an activity to do, all right? I did not do any teaching, but I just gave you the opportunity to learn through reading. You were given quite a number of options of, words, YouTube, pictures, and so on, which you can look at, right? Digest it, make your own notes. Right? So when I give that to my students, and my objective would be for them to acquire the knowledge in regards online learning and online teaching. I can't stop there. Because remember now, I am not physically present with my students. My students are all scattered. You are all over in Pakistan now, in various places, in your homes, in your office. The setting is different. I cannot be physically present there to see if you have done, you have read, you have understood. All right? I only can presume. Well, if you don't read, it's your problem. I cannot do that. I cannot stop that because I am responsible for your learning. Okay, I have to facilitate your learning. I have to guide you to your learning. Okay, yes, I pushed you into the sea, but I have to make sure I just can't push you and walk away. I must make sure that you swim out of it safely. All right. So safely here means, earlier I said we have curriculum, we have syllabuses. We have to make sure the objective of each lesson is achieved. So now, how am I going to check? So I use this platform, the Padlet. I asked you to upload your, your product, your mind map. So by looking at the mind map, I will know how much you have learned. One, I can assess your learning, all right? I can see if you have understood. At the same time, I can also discover students' problem. By looking at it, I can notice that, student A is having some difficulty to understand the strategies towards learning. So I can take that forward, facilitate that particular student on what to do additionally so that he or she arrives at acquiring the objective knowledge and in the process achieving the objective. Okay, so one is to monitor the progress, the other is to assess the understanding and also to detect problems among students. Okay, again, you can use these as a discussion board as well. So now you see I have somebody here. By right, you're supposed to have your name there. So, you just say greeting. So I want to further develop the discussion. Okay, I can be communicating, okay, with that particular student. Okay, I just ask, is there anything you want to say? You see, so the discussion also can go on. So this platform is a continuation of the activity, right? To see the product. So students cannot kind of, you cannot just tell me I'm done, I'm done. No, we can monitor, we can assure them. So this becomes a kind of evidence to show that learning has taken place. Okay, so it's between, so there is one that has come up. Okay, so you have here some notes here, but I don't think these are from the materials that I've given. All right, okay, yeah, it shaped everything, lifestyle. Okay, so you see, you can assess student work on the spot. Okay, so that is the beauty of it. So when you are doing online teaching, so in today's session with you, all right, I didn't come in to tell you, all right, in order to do online teaching, you're going to do this, you must do this, you must do this. I just, as I'm presenting my thoughts, my experiences with you, I'm intervening or incorporating the platforms that you can use. Right? So this is where the real problem is there, and you discover things. So you learn by discovering. Right? So it's individually, it's up to you which platform you want to use, which tools you want to use. Okay? Don't get over enthusiastic. Okay? There are hundreds over platforms and tools. You need to look at the basics. Some of it you can use freely, some you need to purchase, some the premium level you need to purchase, basic level is okay. So for us to use in the class, basic level is where you need not purchase. All right. I told you don't get over enthusiastic. What I mean is, all right, remember online is a privilege to a group of students. Not everyone is gifted to have gadgets, okay, smartphones, laptops, iPads, and so on. Not everyone is gifted. There are students who are not privileged to have them. So we have to take into consideration them, because inclusiveness, everyone is to be benefited from this. So choose something which will be able to be accessed by all students. Right? Those with good connectivity, good data package, as well as those with very little connectivity or very little data privilege. Okay? So you need to explore the tools. Some tools require very high bandwidth, some requires very little. So you need to kind of study your students. What kind of students do you have? If you have all of them with good connectivity, good gadgets, then you can be very ambitious to use the updated tools. But if you have students who are, grappling with just a normal phone and, with minimum connectivity, then let it be just WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the easiest. WhatsApp, you can upload materials, you can upload video, you can just record your own voices, send them. And remember, online you don't take very long. You have to structure it accordingly, right? So the basic thing you need to remember is, what are my students' needs? What is the course requirement? These two has to match, because ultimately at the end of the day, right, we will assess them based on the learning outcome of the student in regards to whether he or she has achieved the course outcome. So even it is face-to-face or non-face-to-face, it has to be, you are bound by your course outcomes. So you need to look at your course requirements. Okay, you need to look at the assessments, what kind of assessment. So doing this online, I can do this Padlet and what do you call QR codes, WhatsApp, and all those. Again, you can do it in two manner. One is the synchronous, the other is asynchronous. Synchronous is live, like what we are doing now is synchronous. You are there at the same time as I am here talking to you. That is synchronous. So again, it comes back to your data, your connectivity. So if you find your students do not have that privilege, then you can do it asynchronously. It means you just upload, you expect them to do when and where they are able to do it. Probably only in the night they have good connectivity. When everyone is sleeping, then they have. So then they can access those materials and do the work at that time. So that becomes asynchronous. Yeah. So you give them longer time to do things. So everything it boils down to what type of student you have and what you have to do with them. It's not one mold that fits everybody. It changes because our students are different, our contexts are different, our setting are different. Even within the Pakistan context, within your districts, you have various variations. So you have to decide on what you need to do. Okay? So what I'm trying to say here is, can you see my new slide?
Yes,
What do you see? What do you see?
learning has to be made additive, like playing video games.
Okay, that good. All right. So what is this? The online way of doing it. You must make this learning process very interesting, appealing to them. Just like how they get addicted to video games. They don't want to move from the screen. You know, youngsters especially. They can sit from morning till night in front of the screen doing one thing after the other, but not, so you have to make your learning that addictive to make sure that they are drawn towards it. Okay? Which is possible. It all depends on your creativity, how much you are coming out of your comfort zone, how much you are able to break up from the those cooked ideas or your mindset. Okay. So as the facilitator, as the educator now, right? You are the teacher, you are the educator, right? But not necessarily to teach. You are just going to create the opportunity. You're going to create the atmosphere. You're going to create the space. So you are going to decide what kind of, uh, contacts they're going to be. So you want learning to be addictive. You want them to enjoy it. You want them to be motivated. Then you must take charge. You need to think outside the box. Okay, what more? We have this technology now. Okay, technology can do wonders. So you only it's all in your hands. How much you can dream, how much you can make use of the technology in front of you. There are plenty of tools available. All you need is explore. Later on, before the WhatsApp group gets dissolved, I will share some freely available tools, as well as some simple guide on using the tools, which I find very handy because I do have students who are in a very much remote areas where they don't have access to connectivity 24 hours. Only certain part of the time they will have, right? So I use very small bandwidth programs. So I will share that with you as well in the group before, probably Shumaila, you can have the group on for one day. Maybe tomorrow you can get it off. So let me share more materials there first. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay, so in regards to how you're going to make learning more enjoyable, for them to kind of experience it with joy, right? You need to look at everything around you, right? as a source. Okay, it's not, there's plenty of things around you. Of course, being an online thing, we are not born as techie experts. We do make mistakes. Right? So you learn from your mistake. You explore things. You want to use a video, you want to video shot yourself. Just do by trial and error. It takes time, not the first time you become an expert. Doesn't matter. You just try. When you keep trying, then you will decide, okay, this is best for me. My lessons are only going to be this. Okay, I'm going to use WhatsApp. I'm going to use, there's another platform, Edmodo, which I did not introduce to you today because that requires step-by-step guidance. Probably I will share in the group later on, okay, because that is very much like your Facebook, where you can upload things, you can share, you can put assignments there, you can chat, you can create small groups, and everything can be done within the Edmodo itself. So all these I learned through picking up, nowadays there's so many short courses coming up. I believe your IT department, your IT experts do run short courses as well. Find time to attend all those courses, learn all those things, and you choose and pick which one you want to use. Okay. What I use, what fits me may not fit you. All right. You need to explore. Okay. Look at everything with new perspective. Maybe previously you were very apprehensive of online. Okay, I don't know how many of you here are into online purchases or online banking. To be very honest with you, I was very skeptical about online banking. I never wanted to get involved, but over the last 3 months I was forced to do it because I need to make purchases, I need to make payment, and I did it. And I say how stupid I can be. It's such a simple thing. Everything is just a click away. All right. So you begin to, so that's why I was saying this COVID disruption is actually a blessing. Okay? So begin to look at things differently. All right. Everything wrong around you, every problem around you, every new thing is actually an opportunity. Grab the opportunity. Okay? Learn and acquire knowledge so that the skills that you obtain will be able to keep you or sustain you for the rest of your lives and rest of the term. We don't know what is there in the future, but sad to say, this COVID pandemic or the COVID new norm is not going to end here. It is going to stay with us for long, you like it or not. It is going to stay on. So we have to keep, you cannot say, in another month it will be over, I can go back to class as usual. Nope. The old normal is not going to return, you like it or not. This new norm is going to stay. The only thing is we are going to learn how to live with COVID. Just like malaria, just like dengue, it is not cured. It is still there, but we have learned to live with it. So similarly, now COVID has changed our lifestyle in every perspective. In terms of relationship, okay? If in the past we do greeting by shaking hands, hugging, kissing, but we don't do that. That doesn't mean relationship is gone. The relationship is there, or in fact, it's much strengthened. So similarly, in terms of education, we have to pick up new things, look at new ways of doing things. We ourselves need to equip ourselves with knowledge and skills to remain sustainable and relevant. Okay, so the learning the learning opportunity that you are supposed to give your students, okay, must be activities that will engage them, which will make them learn, acquire not only skills, values, and attitudes. So remember, any activity that you are doing must have the 3H. Okay, the 3H will be, it must involve the head. Head here is the cognitive knowledge. By doing this activity, I must get some knowledge, the cognitive. The second is hand. Okay, hand here refers to the psychomotor. whatever activity that is given, there must be movement involved, not just tactically sitting, right? And the third one will be heart. Okay, every activity that you are going to give, right, must be able to create values and attitudes, the human touch. So don't only think that learning activities must be cognitive based. Nope. Always think of the three things: cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. The human value, the human touch, skills, and knowledge. So this is what problem-based learning brings about in every student. Okay? Put you into the deep sea, like you explore. By you looking at the blank space, you got the knowledge. By you doing, moving, you are picking up skills and sharing, discussion, the values you add on. You have added values in yourself. Okay, so I think I pretty much touched on every single thing that I was supposed to reveal to you through this very brief sharing, right? So now it brings me to the time where I want you to do a self-reflection. Okay, you reflect by looking at this link. I will share the link in the at Modo, not sorry, at Modo in your WhatsApp now. This one doesn't have a QR code. But again, by asking you to do this reflective self-reflection, I'm actually introducing you to another platform, which is Google Form. Okay. So this Google Form, it has just some basic only five questions. Provide your name, your institution. What was your best moment in this session? Can you see the Google Form?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. What was your most challenging moment and why? Okay. What did you learn or discover from this session? What actions do you plan to take to help you be a better educator or a student if you happen to be a student? And the final one, of course, what are your general comments in regards my presentation? All right, be very honest, because this will be very constructive to me in the sense to improve myself. All right, so if you think you have something negative to say, go ahead. All right, I won't feel offended. Okay, I want honest response from you. Right, so you can do this right now, or you can take time to do it after this session later on. Okay, you can have the whole day to do it, but don't take too long until tomorrow when you will forget. Okay, so again, this is the platform. So you notice that input was given. Okay, students given opportunity to acquire, to learn, and then they show proof of their learning and get consolidation through the Padlet. And then this Google form you can use for assessment, right? So I have given here short questions, or questions which require short answers. So if you notice here, if you can see the plus point, you can add questions. You can develop MCQ questions. You can develop true false questions. You can develop fill in the blanks. You can develop essays. You can develop here. And the good thing about it, you can, if it's MCQ, you can also provide answers straight away. So once students, they do it, they will be able to see the right answer. They will get immediate response of their, well, so I have one response already. This is Professor, this is Naveen. Right. Practice, understand technology. This is supposed to be a paragraph writing, so at least probably you want to express more on later on. All right. So please do this. You can do it now. You can take time to do it by end of today. Yeah. So, but remember, it will be helpful not only for me, but it is going to be helpful for you too to reflect how you put your 1.5 or almost 2 hours of this time to use, so you can test out yourself. So, as a conclusion, you need to take charge, okay, and initiate active roles from in this new norm. Okay, stop mourning, feeling agitated, okay, as things are changing very quickly, right? They're not going, you don't have much time to, think about. So stop complaining. Okay? Stop putting blames on others. Stop, asking too much of, why. Move forward. Okay, move forward. And as individuals or as institutions, so right, you need you create. And if it's an institution, ELDC, maybe you want to create the setting, create more short courses. What you're doing is very great, Shumaila and the team. All these short webinars, you are bringing in experts to share experiences. So you're giving them the opportunity to look at various perspectives, various ways things are done. So as an individual, you have so much of option. So you just need to pick and choose, create one for yourself. All right. So you individually have to take charge. All right. You take charge to be the new norm. You build your new norm. What is the new identity that you are bringing forth in this new norm? Okay. So you have to embrace or take charge of this COVID disruption. Remember, I told you earlier, is it good or bad? I take it as very good, right? So embrace it. That is, don't shun it away, don't ignore it, don't, take it. Grab the opportunity, right? Think of ways to come forth, improve yourself for your future and also for your institution and for a better tomorrow for you, your family, your institution, and your nation at large. Okay? So only then you will be considered as an asset. If you don't do anything, you're just going to sit and moan. You are going to be a liability to the institution, to your family. So when you become a liability, there is very high possibility you will be kicked out because you become obsolete, you become irrelevant. So what's the point keeping somebody who's not relevant? So use this opportunity, do things the right way, build up your knowledge, your skills, and then make yourself relevant. Then you will be sought after. So you will add value to your life, to your skill, to your knowledge. Okay? So just like Anna Isabella said, all right, give a man a fish, he will live for a day. Teach him how to fish, he will live forever. So what I have done you, I have not given you step-by-step guidance. So I did not hold your hand to say, do this, do this. Because if I had done that today, all right, guiding you, you will only be able to come up, but tomorrow you won't be able to do it yourself. So when you are given the skills and knowledge, I've introduced you to so many platforms and so on. These are the opportunity for you to use and survive, so that you will be. It's better for you to know how to do than somebody teaches you. Okay, this is how. If I have a problem, I'm supposed to solve something. I just don't know. I just come to one of you and I say, Tariq, please do this for me. Yes, Tariq will do it for me. Problem solved. But if I learned anything, nothing. But if I had gone to Tariq and if I tell Tariq, can you show me how to do? And if he had shown me how to do, the next time I will be a survivor. I'll be a warrior because I can do things. So that's what is expected from you. So having said that, I expect you to kind of, come out of this and challenge yourselves for a better tomorrow. Any questions?